Hello, everyone. It's Monday. It's Monday all day today. Hope everyone's doing well. Man, I gotta start looking at my water situation before I go live. All right. Let's get started. I got some things to do. We're working towards the next update. Should fix a lot of things. I think after this update, we're kind of gonna get into summoning territory. So what that means is we'll be looking at a summoning ritual, potential ways to perform each summoning of the bosses. We're gonna have to make a new sigil for it, right? We're gonna have to make like a lot of things for this. That also means that the Sentinel boss is probably gonna have to start being worked on a little more aggressively. And I have a great idea for how you will get the magical wyverns from said boss. I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna be a drop. It's gonna be a drop of like an egg, and it'll be like an ancient like fire egg or whatever it's going to be. And then you'll feed enough mana into it, or maybe a certain type of essence, depending on what it is. And it will hatch into its, the hatchling. You could raise it. Eventually, you'll be able to get male and females, breed them up. But it's going to be your way to kind of tame elemental wyverns. Like, that's how it's going to be. Begin the great bug squish. I've been doing it. One thing I need to do before I forget again, I fixed for the grimoire the regeneration here. Right, this part. I need to propagate this through to the cipher. And also to the spell scrolls as well. So we gotta do that. I was working on the boss last night. I'll show you. It's funny, if people have these spawn thinking that they're gonna be friendly, right? And just kind of wander around like they used to. Oh boy, are people gonna have a rude awakening. It's going to destroy their faces. So... as you can see already here. So we'll move away from that. All right, so let's pull up. Oh my god, I'm spelling it wrong. Regeneration, right? Yeah, so I was right. It's gonna have to be... Yeah, see, actually it looks like the cipher here is correct. So that's right. The book's right. It's just the spell scroll still has a problem. So actually, before I do anything else, I'm gonna verify that this is right. Okay, so this isn't totally right. I probably want to do that instead. All right, and the runic scroll, it should be in tools, spell scroll. That's what we want. This one's gonna be an easy fix. So basically, I copy the stats to string. This will format it. Let's get rid of the cast for the int. There we go. Save. Fireball. Now we're going to look back into it. There we go. So now you'll be able to see how much health you get per second per tick. On everything. Yep, looks good. Boop. Awesome. So that is fixed. What else was I working on? I think I fixed everything else last night. think I fixed pretty much everything else. Let me take a look here. I can look at old GitHub. Right, localization keys, fix the issues with like the image for the Ritual of Resonance. There's just a lot of things that I fixed. This encompasses the redesign of the Devouring Void. Transmutation 2 and the Serenity 1 spells. They'll cast correctly now. I had the math wrong when it came to the cast bar. So you'll notice the drastic increase there. Secondary collection trigger. So I guess for the rest of the stream, honestly, I thought I'd have more bugs. I'm not really finding a lot of bugs. at least any more than like what was initially put forth, and I think I got them all. Let me just make sure. Let's go under the mod issues here. Yeah, no one posted anything new here. Yeah. Alright, you know what? So for now, I'm going to work on boss stuff. This is our sentry. I guess first things first, I need to decide on the size of this guy. And I think I'm going to change the model. I think I'm going to make the arms much thicker. And I may end up embracing one of these things here. Either putting the wings on both sides, or I'm going to have this... Or you know what? You know what I'll do? I can make these wings on the opposite side. And then I can move this up, maybe towards the top, so it's like a halo of elements like around it. I think that would look cool. The quantity of bugs for the Great Hunt was severely oversold. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the stuff, too, it's like a lot of the stuff doesn't really take long at all to really fix. If someone gives me a crash report, I can hone right in on a problem and get it fixed super fast. But yeah, alright, so I think for now, oh, one thing I did change, it was affected by this guy. When I go into game mode 1, you'll see he'll shoot fireballs at me. The animation used to get stuck. It was something that people saw in the sentries too, where their arms would continue to swing because they kept doing the same like attack animation. So that has been fixed, as you can see. This guy's trying to look at me here. So that has been fixed. I really need to come up... I need to come up with, like, how this boss fight is going to be. What's expected, ways people can cheese it. I'm thinking right off the bat, if you are not within, like, attack range, which would be that, when you summon a boss, you have 5 minutes when, like, no players in range until it disappears, right? Until it despawns. I think 5 minutes is more than enough to do a corpse run. And if you are far away like this and you think you could lob arrows over at it indefinitely, I do need to make an ability that can lock on to any players that are outside of the range that they have aggro on. And if they're too far away, it's going to do something where it summons you over to it. Here, let me... Game mode 2, there we go. Right, so if you're far away trying to cheese it, it's going to pull you over to it, like right on top of it, and maybe hit you with a stun. And then it will do... There's a melee sweep that it does. And it will at least hit you once with that melee sweep, right? And then you'll have to figure out, right? You better hope that you didn't put it in some kind of box where there's no way out. Honestly, for how much the mod overhauls, is actually pretty stable overall. Yeah, this mod hits, like, it touches a lot of aspects of the game. which is something I make sure to tell people, right? Because when we get a new version, people think like, well, it works with all the other mods, just go into the new, it should work with this. No, because all the other mods touch like maybe 1 or 2 parts of the game. This one touches a lot. Like, you gotta be careful doing that. That's why I'm very, very particular when I talk about, you know, the versions that I build the mod for. Very particular. Here we go. So, let's start thinking about attacks, right? For phases, I want there to be 2 phases. We're gonna map this stuff out. Phase 1, Phase 2. And, I'll say when summoned, right? Let's, let me map out, like, ideally what the mechanics are gonna be. So when summoned, I can put, I think I want, maybe 3 to 5 seconds of, I'll say invulnerability, right? So you won't be able to do anything. It's gonna be like revving up, you know, like maybe I'll have like a special animation where like this thing, like after it's done, it's a pile of rocks, right? And then you'll watch it like assemble into the creature, right? Into the boss. And then at that point, the immunity's over. Maybe at the end, cause a minor explosion. No block damage, right? So like a visual like explosion. Trigger sounds to alert others you know, that something is happening, right? And that's gonna be similar to like maybe calling down lightning, you know, like how when you finish like a grimoire, like people around you can hear it, right? They can hear like the lightning crackling. They know you're doing something with magic. So I kind of want something else there to, and all of this is going to be to like set the mood. Phase 1 is going to be maybe standing still, right? Standing still, like the boss will be, right? So I could say like boss standing still. Let's see, it will have attacks. Maybe within 4 blocks there'll be an AoE melee attack for block range, right? Have it to where every I'll say maybe it takes 1.5 seconds to complete to allow time to move away. Right, that would be one of them. If the boss is going to have a pull attack, it might be best to make an oh shit, this is too hard escape mechanic, like an item to prematurely despawn it if someone summons it and they're not prepared. I don't know. I don't know about that. I could see your point. At the same time, this isn't like a mistake, people, or, you know, like you're not gonna accidentally do this. It's gonna be a specific setup and a specific ritual with a specific, and there are gonna be warnings on the talisman as well. I think there are gonna be a lot of things that will trigger. And worst case scenario, you die, right? Like worst case scenario, this thing kills you. You spawn, you know, however far away, and then you just wait out the timer, right? You don't attack it or anything, like, wait out the timer to have it despawn. Like, it will naturally despawn on its own if no players are around the attack range, like whatever the furthest attack range is, which I think is about 15 blocks. Because and the other part of that is you have to be careful because someone can be a dick, right? And the boss is almost over and be like, huh, and then they can throw the thing that would despawn it, and it would all despawn, and then the people that busted their ass would get nothing, right? So people can grief too if I give you a shut off mechanic. So it's kind of kind of a two-pronged approach. I think you know, you get what you get. Yeah, warning, it's gonna suck. But that's why I wanted phase 1 to be a stationary phase, right? To maybe give you the ability to move away, right? And then what I may do, and this will probably take a couple iterations, is I may be able to tell, right? Like, if you get attacked, right? If you attack this thing, you're like, oh crap, it's too hard. And then you run away outside of the range, right? If this thing is still in phase 1, it's not going to be chasing you. Now, if you are outside of the range and you try to hit this, then I'm going to have it summon you over to it, right? And it's going to... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have it cause confusion. I'm going to have it give you the debuff confusion because it pulls you over, teleports you to it. Your keys are going to be messed up for a good maybe 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Maybe 3 seconds, because that's enough to take, like, a hit once you summon over. Like, that's going to be an automatic, you know, smack in the face for trying to cheese the boss. Right? And then at that point, you could try and run away, right? As long as you don't hit this thing. You know, it's not going to try and retaliate with a summoning to it. If you are outside of the range. So, AoE melee attack, right? Projectile. Projectile 1, we'll say, and that could be, single big attack. And then I think I want another thing. Projectile 2 would be, maybe 6 to 8 orbs, like shot out all around the, you know, the boss, right? So maybe it has like a big burst where it will shoot like a big projectile like to whoever it's pissed off at the most. You know, I could also add stability checks in here too. If your temporal stability is lower, maybe you'll be targeted by that more. Do stability checks, lower target stability gets the big shot. Oops, this would be here, right? For the single big attack. And then that's it, right? That'll be it. So really, like, tier, like, you know, the first phase of this, it's gonna be kind of like weaving in and out a little bit. You know what I mean? You're going to be weaving in and out. You could set up walls beforehand, and you could try to, like, weave out, right? That's that. Phase 2 is where it's going to be a little different. Also, it's a voxel game, so have to consider if placement of blocks should be allowed during the fight, or it'll be suppressed, like, around traders, story locations. That's a good point. You know what I was going to do? I was going to have it to where... So phase 1, it's stationary anyways. Phase 2 was going to be a little different. Let me move on to phase 2. Phase 2, boss moves. And let me put in so phase transition, right? Let's do a phase transition. It's gonna be the same thing here, right? So when it goes from phase 1 to phase 2, there'll be 3 to 5 seconds of invulnerability. That's when I can play with like the animations. I'm thinking I'm gonna add more armor to this guy. I'm gonna probably beef up the arms, beef up the chest a little bit. He's gonna look more like rock armor plated. Kind of like maybe put an anchor to the ground as well. You know what I mean? Because wherever he spawns, right, there's going to be, you'll be making a 3x3 platform of whatever the material's going to be, and then you'll put the rune in the center. Then, you know, depending on what it is, there'll be different triggers to summon each elemental boss. But ultimately, like, I can make it look like he's rooted, you know, he's rooted down on the ground. Right, and I could probably do that from like I could turn that block into like the specific summon block, so he can kind of like rotate around, and then tier 2, you know, phase 2, you would see that shatter. Then he would gain the more agile form, and when the boss moves, will be maybe like walk speed. I'm gonna have to play with this a little bit. Any blocks it runs into, it will break. Right? So you can't put up, you know, walls and stuff, and thinking like for phase 1, having a wall for the projectile, that's fine. Phase 2, this thing's gonna probably, honestly, it'll probably go maybe walk speed. You know, and then just kind of like munge towards you. And if it happens, if you think you're safe behind a wall, like it may stop for like a second, but then it's gonna break that wall and then come through, right? So if you want to waste the blocks and try and have like this whole wall, you could do that, but I don't know what it's really gonna do to help you, right? It's gonna prolong the inevitable because that thing's coming. This is where an evocation mage is going to be your best friend. Right? Boss moves will be maybe like walk speed. Any blocks it runs into, it will break. Not sure if you get them back. Right? It may just completely destroy the blocks. And this phase, it will do AoE, kind of like magic explosion every 4 to 5 seconds. I'm not sure of the timing, right? But it will be equivalent to like the mage AoE. So this guy's going to be radiating fire within an AoE range, kind of like a cadence to it. Right, so I think that with moving, because the idea is you're kind of like taking off the armor and exposing the raw core itself. Trying to paint a story with this boss fight to make it look epic and feel epic. Although, you know, if not, why even bother putting this in? I could probably put the wyvern egg, you know. But I'm not sure if I should give it... It should have some kind of, like, projectile, I think. But maybe not really a projectile in the way of, like, what you would think a projectile would be. Yeah. Was thinking slow speed, high HP call in the evocation. Yeah. Oh, one other thing I wanted to add in this phase. I just remembered. After 1 minute, Or maybe after 30 seconds, I'll put a question mark so that time can go. We'll do a summoning spell. It will place special elemental crystals down randomly. Maybe 2 to 3 of them. You know where I'm going with this. If they are not broken in time, maybe I'll do like 15 seconds. It will spawn a random, I'll say either Ravager or Drone. I won't throw sentries at you, but it'll be either, you know, either a Ravager or a Drone of the same elemental type. You know what? I won't throw Ravager at you. I'll put sentries in there. Because if you are coming to this fight with the gear and stuff you're supposed to have, you're going to be using the water spell, right? The water projectile Aqua Blast, right? And that's going to do 20 points of damage, but because these are fire elementals, it's going to do 1.5 times the damage, so it's going to do 30 points of damage for one projectile. You could nuke a sentry out of the sky in a single hit with evocation, right? So we're talking about a minor nuisance here. Very minor nuisance. And I kind of want this same mechanic over here, like while it's moving, I want it to drop, right? Maybe instead of 30 seconds at this point, maybe after 15 seconds, right? It will do a similar thing, right? Like it's going to be a little faster paced. And these times, like as I'm playtesting it, I may end up changing these, right? Maybe 15 seconds is too aggressive. You know, maybe you need a little more time. You know, the idea is I want you to, if you're good, I want you to be able to solo it, depending on your spec, right? Because if you're gonna come in here as an alteration mage, thinking that you're gonna like wreck this thing's face, you know what I mean? Like you're a healer, you got another thing coming. Incantation's gonna have a little bit of an edge, not because of damage, but because they have the resist elements buffs, which will make these boss fights, like, I'd want to scale it to where you kinda need some kind of elemental resistance. You know, whether that be through equipment that you put on, maybe a bracelet, something like that to raise your elemental resistance. But I don't want you to come in here with stone spears thinking that you're going to take this thing down with no armor and it's going to be a cakewalk. Like, you're probably going to get smashed. Might be good to put some more entries in talking about mechanics of the fight in universe. Maybe a previous group trying to summon what they encountered during each phase. No, I'm not gonna do that. I will make sure there's ample text in there telling you that this is gonna be a dangerous, hard fight. I will put in some context clues in there as well, and maybe tell you, like, you know, if you're aggroed, right? If you try and do the aggro runaway trick, that it will pull you through the void to it. You know, I'll give you little things like that. I am not going to tell you the phases and what each, like, all the attacks are. That's something like that World of Warcraft did, and I kind of see why they did that for dungeons, but I really wish they didn't, because it makes it to where you're not learning the boss mechanics, right? You just open up your book and you're like, oh, it's got these mechanics. When I see this, run towards people. When I see this, run away. Like, I don't want it to be on the nose like that. Honestly, I would like this to be as blind as it would get, you know, as you could get. Because I remember going in blind with, like, Ars Magica, right? And summoning, what were they, Guardians? Right? Summoning, like, the Guardian fights. And then being like, holy shit, you know? Like, it was like pandemonium. I didn't know what was going on. They had these abilities. And you know what? I got killed a couple of times. Like, they were not super easy fights unless you had some really strong spells. And each one you summoned was like a little worse too, you know. And they all had their like little things that they would do, right? Their little, you know, their little quirks. God, I remember the one. Wasn't it the wind one? You couldn't even get like you couldn't even get two. Like if you tried to go within melee of that one, oh, that's cool. But if you tried to get in melee range of that, it actually would blow you away, right? And you had to make the platform, like a lot of people made the platform, and it would just like do the shock, the AoE shock knockback thing. And it would like throw you off of the platform. You'd like fall to your death, and it's like, oh great. You know, or you'd get too close and it's like the gale force, it would just like throw you off the side. Vice suffered once, so we'll make everyone else experience that terror too. You know it. If I'm not making people like cringe a little bit, then I failed as a modder. Trust me, I make a lot of people cringe. But yeah, like this thing's gonna be a beast. If you don't get that through the warning, then you know, you kind of deserve the death you're about to get. And besides, and the thing is, phase 1 being stationary, if you summon this thing and it's too much, run away. Right? You have plenty of time to run away from this. If you attack this thing enough to where you get it down to like the phase 2, you know what you're in for. You know what I mean? Like, there's no surprise here anymore. You may have found a way to cheese it. You may have done it legit for phase 1. But phase 2, when this thing's coming after you and it starts, like, munging on the blocks that are in the way, you know, like, I may give this thing flight. Like, it won't just be, like, walk speed. It may be, like, I'm gonna fly towards you. And I'm going to, anything that I'm colliding with, I'm going to make sure that I break. You know, it could be something like that. And then you have to, you know, you have to have, like, I would set up, you know, this closed range with these walls is phase 1. Phase 2 is a more cleared out area where I could try and kite this thing around, put up some fake walls, even if it holds something for a second, throwing some dirt down. You know what I mean? Just to give me that second to, like, run around on the other side and like break some eggs as they are, you know, before they hatch, right? Break some of the crystals. Like I want you to think about this. And if I do it right, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's all, you know, it's all something that people can choose to do. Your reward is going to be a wyvern flying mount that you can raise. So I think that's like the pinnacle of mage right there. I think that's like, that alone is going to be worth the boss. And it's going to give you, actually I want to make another thing on the list is I want to make elemental specific staves. Right, so this guy may drop the Inferno fire staff. And if you're, you know, if you're like doing incantation or something, right, and you want to be like a fire mage, maybe I can bake some spells into that staff, right? So maybe you don't have to necessarily be evocation to do a form of like the fireball spell, you know? Like I can really have fun with the drops and make some very unique things. You know, and these are staff drops that you would not be able to get otherwise. You know, and like other things too, like I can have this thing, like remember, like the whole world of equipment is at my disposal right now. I can make a cape that allows you to fly, right? I can make like a disc, you know, that you could hop on and mount on that way and fly around. I can make a broomstick fall from these guys, you know. I can make any kind of thing that I would deem worthy of you know, like the boss itself, right? And these guys will also drop the summoning cores as well, and I want that to be a main component of the whole summoning ritual too, right? Because I'm gonna make the summoning staff, you're gonna make your totem, and then you'll be able to spawn, you know, maybe a little army of stuff to help you fight as well. Something like that, though, isn't going to be super helpful with this boss, because they're going to be subject to, like, the AoEs, too. Right? But it's more like you're being rewarded. You know, this is very much a tier 3 mage thing. Like, if you are, like, rocking one tier 2 spell and the rest of your spells are tier 1, and you got your tier 1 mage gear on, this guy's gonna wreck your face. You are not gonna have the DPS to take this thing down. Unless you have a bunch of friends doing it, in which case you all better potion up. But yeah. Yeah, staff drops are nice. Yeah. So yeah. I can make custom shields too. I can make a lot of things. But I think the staffs would be cool. Like, imagine getting, like, the Hellfire staff, right? The Inferno, right? The special staff that drops down. And then you can pop it on, and it would just be like this, right? It would have spells pre-baked into it. And it could be various, like, fire-themed spells. And that would be pretty neat, because then I could take a staff like that, and that would be great for the water boss. Right, because we're just talking about fire right now, right? So you take that fire staff to the water boss, you may have more of an edge to take down that water boss now because of that staff. Serenity. Look at that. Boom. Works perfect now. There you go. That's your spell. You could cast Serenity on this thing, and it will calm its ardor. Could you imagine? I would never do something like that. Piss off the bees. Oh man. All right. So I think for now, maybe this thing becomes a flying, maybe it flies. Maybe flies, right? Maybe flies around at walk speed. That way, if you do try to cheese the melee, right? Like this one, you could get away with melee. The other one, you're probably gonna have to hit it with range most times. So there's like the melee version, and then there's the phase 2 ranged version. Corrupted bee boss might be fun. Earth-themed damage. I won't make a bee boss. People got mad with my creatures mod. My Eldritch monsters mod, where I had the stalkers, the spiders. I gave them 6 legs, so they're like little walking ants, but people with arachnophobia, they get mad at that. I mean, it also it was also kind of funny because I go through all the trouble to give them 6 legs, right? Because I'm like, yeah, they're like ants at this point. And then I actually looked up like tarantula hisses and you know, like real life sounds and stuff, and then put those for the sounds that the creatures make. Let me tell you, it gave me the creeps, like, you know, because I had to like listen to this stuff and find like the right samplings of the sounds. I was like, ugh, you know, just kind of rubbing my legs, like feeling like things are crawling on me. Messed up. Ban, bitch. Likely ban evader. I really wish I could just have these people not talk at all. There's got to be a way to do that, right? You know, I'm gonna pull that up here. Twitch. Stop. Likely ban Vader from talking. There we go. Put that on the to-do list too. So, I guess I could start... How much time do I have? Oof, not a lot. Okay. Obviously, we're going to start with Phase 1. Phase 1 combat. AoE melee attack. 4 block range. I think the 4 block range, that would be 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this would be... Here, we'll put down another block here. Here we go. So this would be swipe range. More than enough to come in, right? Like, I could be standing here, I could still hit this guy, I could still hit him from here. Now, you don't need to be, like, right up in his grill. I could pop him, and then you could hop back out. Right? Come in, pop him, hop back out. Right? And he'll be doing his AoE, you'll find the pattern, right? You'll find the cadence. And he will have the other attacks. So 2 projectile attacks. These are going to be interesting to do. And then after 30 seconds, we're going to have to make another thing. After 30 seconds, we'll do some summoning. So I guess the rough draft of this would be maybe around it in a couple places at random, right? It will place the crystals down in wherever the available spots will be. And you know what I could do? I could do something, I could kind of be a jerk about it a little bit. I'll have it to where, like, it will place the blocks, like, if you built a wall, it could be, like, on top of the wall. It'll just be, like, whatever the highest point is. Although, I think for all of these, even the Earth, if you summon this thing, you can't do it underground. I will have a bunch of checks that I do to make sure that this is, like, facing the sky. I should probably map out that restriction in here. The 3x3 grid should be the topmost block facing the sky. Right? Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Alright, this guy's gonna be shooting fireballs. So I need a couple things here, right? So... Oh, shit. Game mode 2, there we go. So maybe your thing probably looks like this, right? You could have some walls up here, right? Because you got to think about like how people are gonna cheese this stuff too, right? You know, you could be doing this, trying to like bounce in and out. That's why I'm not gonna have any sympathy for you, right? Kind of come in, take your hit. This blast it's doing is probably going to be the charged blast. And then he will have like an AoE thing that he does as well. Which would shoot like, you know, however many projectiles out in kind of like a range. Or, you know what I could do instead of something like that where it's like static balls being sent out? I could do a quick, like, he starts to channel something, and then maybe you have to, like, duck behind something. And then if you don't have line of sight when the attack goes off, you know what I mean? Something like that, where, like, you won't take damage. So you can kind of line of sight the big things. Yeah, you can't hit those. I think phase 1's gonna be pretty easy. So it's gonna be pretty manageable, I should say. Is that bouncing off? Oh no, it's not. It's colliding and getting smaller. That's what. Boop. The hitbox is going to be a lot bigger on these two. And I think the projectile is going to be bigger as well. But, alright, so we got something there. If I come into here... See, he just did the little AoE attack. I got hit twice there, because I got the AoE attack in that. Game mode 2. Alright, let's hop back into here. Make it daytime again. And I guess the other thing to talk about is each elemental is going to have a certain thing you're going to have to do. Like for fire, I think I may have you have to use like obsidian blocks and lava blocks in it. Water, you may have to make like a 3x3 water ring or something, and it's got to be raining for that ritual to be able to be completed. Wind, I think you're gonna have to have a minimum Y value of like maybe 150. Basically, I'll take whatever your sea level is, and then add 33% on it, right, to make it to where you kind of have to be on a mountaintop. And I'll look at that. That may end up being like a 50%. I kind of want you to be like high in the sky, right? And then it's got to be a clear sky for the wind. Stone, like earth, maybe something with stone bricks. I'm not sure about that one. Lightning is gonna have to be during a storm, and you will have to have iron blocks. And some of these blocks too, like when I say obsidian and stuff, it's not gonna be like rituals where it consumes all items. Those are just like catalyst items. You can get those items back. Maybe. That's what I'm thinking so far. And then winter, right? Maybe it should be like frost. It should be something in winter time. Maybe, not, if not winter, it can be during... See, if this was Minecraft, I could be like, yeah, do it in like a cold biome. But I can't really have that as the criteria because the way the biomes work in this game. So maybe use ice blocks. Ice and or snow blocks. Maybe something like that. Nature, I'm not sure. I said, like, kill 5 creatures. Maybe... It's gotta be something. I don't know. Maybe... use... shears to get... leaf blocks, something like that. Use leaf blocks, and then you could tell right here for arcane. I'm like, oh, build a golem, right? I was thinking like in Minecraft how you can like build the golem and then you finish it right with putting like the snow on top or the pumpkin on top or whatever. You have like the snow block tea and it makes the thing. I'm thinking like maybe should you be building the golems? You know, like, would it make more sense to maybe not have, like, a ritual for summoning and a sigil? And maybe just have it to where you need to build something? Alright, so we use obsidian and come over here. You know, then maybe you could do something with, like, fire crystals up top, or... What is that? Wow. Look at that view distance, eh? Like, I don't know, just... do something like this. Maybe I can make like a summoning block. Yeah, fire crystal armpits for a second there, right? I don't know, maybe this should, maybe you should build it. Maybe it shouldn't be a ritual. Maybe this is something that you kind of have to build. And then I can make like an activation item. It could be like here, right? Maybe this is... Oh, shit. Damn you, obsidian. I don't know why I used obsidian for my example. It's because I like obsidian, that's why. Right, that maybe like either this block or maybe like this block so it's more even with you. Could be wherever you would put like the final use thing to like activate the whole thing. You have to pull a Frosty and pop something on for the head. Maybe an artifact core. Maybe you throw an artifact core near it and it will check and then it will consume the artifact core and consume the blocks, and then it goes into phase 1, which is like the construction of this thing where it starts off as a pile and I can animate it back together. Maybe do that. And then phase 2 could be shedding of the armor, which would be this form. And then it kind of flies at that point, because then it's not tethered. You know, I kind of like this a little better than the summoning ritual. Kind of building out the thing that's going to kill you. Building it out a bit. Kind of play around with some lava here. I don't know how feasible this would be, but it would be kind of cool. crystals. Yeah, it destroys blocks, doesn't it? But see, I don't know how well this would translate to, like, other things. Because, like, I have lava and I have water. Right, I got lava and water. It's not like I have liquid air, or, you know what I mean? Liquid lightning blocks. Like, it wouldn't be a 1-for-1. What, the Earth is gonna be like bricks. You know what I mean? It could be bricks. How difficult is making fluids in Vintage? It's actually more annoying than you think. I had to make the Rift Bloom tea. That took a bit to figure out. That was pretty annoying to make. And I didn't even make the block of the liquid. That was just to, like, have a bucket of said liquid. Like, there's no block of, like, Rift Bloom tea you could place. And I don't want to add blocks, like liquids, just for the sake of it either. You know, it's like, oh, there's this, all of a sudden you got liquid lightning. What are you going to use it for the rest of the mod? Right, then I get to backfill. Although this is kind of cool. But what would the arcane be, you know? Those funky liquid blocks are always fun. As long as there's not too many, and each does something different, yeah. Fuck obsidian. You know what I could do, though? I could use this as an opportunity. Ooh, I got an idea. Don't I have something that orients on the side? Maybe not. I can make these to where, like, they could be placed on the sides. Because I can create a couple specialty blocks that are summoning blocks, right? Specifically for the boss summoning. You could still build with them. Ooh, could do... I'm just building now. I know I don't have that much time. I gotta go soon. So I'm just building. Where are my mana torches? Here we go. I mean, what if... Whoops. Something like that, and then you could use this on this block to, like, socket it in or something. I hate the torches. I hate those. I hate those. Those are crap. There we go. You make it kind of spiky. And then to, like, activate it, like, whatever the center block would be, right? It would be like inserting the coin, the stone, right? And as long as it's correct, it will trigger whatever the thing is, right? And then, like, for the bottom here, for the platform, maybe I could have that be, you know, something specific to the element, right? So for fire, maybe that would be, like, obsidian. Wherever it is. Especially with the blocks for summoning rays, especially if the core has all the difficult portions, but the other parts look good for builds. Yeah. Yeah, I think the core is going to be, like, the really expensive part, right? Like, whatever, it would have to be 2 items, right? It would have to be, like, the item itself that you would put in your hand to, like, use, and then, like, the block itself, which I would consider, like, the activation core. Like, the activation core, maybe moderate, maybe that one's a little more expensive. This, I think it's just gonna be artifact cores, like, using an artifact core in it to, like, you know, reanimate it. It would give another use for artifact cores. And then you get Big Boy. With a lot of health. I can make a block that looks hollow. And then when you put this crystal in, maybe you'll see the crystal. You know what I mean? And then the timer would start. And then, like, it would consume all this stuff, and then you would have the entity spawn in its broken down state, and then you watch it, like, assemble. And then that final, like, explosion, just for the sake of an explosion, the non-block damaging one. And then the boss fight would start. I think that would be a pretty cool transition. And I like this idea here. And I think having it 3 blocks tall is actually pretty accurate for this guy. I think it looks good. Maybe I could have something like this, too. Where it may be shaped a little different, but it would have, like, the, you know, each side looks like something with socket to it, to kind of give you an idea. And then this would be the hollow part that you would put the final thing in. I guess I could do something like that. I guess that would look okay. I could texture it so it all looks like it kind of would, like, connect together. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty good. Alright, well, we have some notes here. Now that I have notes down, it's going to be a lot easier to put this stuff in, right? Because we'll be making AI tasks, kind of figuring stuff out. For Phase 1, we already have the AoE melee attack. We have the projectile kind of done. I may make a custom one, that way I can make that projectile bigger, because it's going to be a big shot. And then for projectile 2, instead of shooting the orbs out, that one's probably just going to be a channeled AoE and you got to line of sight them. And then we'll have to do this one to summon the little ads that you'll have to take care of. Alright, let's find someone to raid. My man Percuss, still playing. Let's give him a raid. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We're getting stuff done. I'm gearing up right now. You know, obviously this isn't going to be in the next update. Next update, I may push out just maybe a little later tonight when I get back to my computer. A lot of bug fixes. It's going to fix the Devouring Void. Like, the Devouring Void works differently now. Yeah, and just general improvements. And then once this is out, I can really start, you know, pushing the Sentinels. Getting those bosses up and running. But yeah. Alright, everyone. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye. Adios. See you later. Bye. Always good to see improvements. Yeah, you know it. Alright, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.